So one of the things that I've noticed is how unemotional I've become since beginning testosterone. Now, I distinctly remember being very emotional before the testosterone. I hated it when I would get frustrated either at work or out in public, and it would bring me to tears. Just the sheer frustration or anger that I would feel would move me to tears, and that would even make me more frustrated because I hated crying when I was trying to work out a frustrating situation. And I always felt like I was being judged or looked down on because I was being emotional. And one of the first things I noticed when I started taking testosterone was that my emotionality, is that even a word? My emotional side has become muted. I can get angry now without being moved to tears, and I love that. I remember just absolutely loving that when I first started noticing that effect. And I've been on testosterone now for a little over 2 years, and I can count on one hand how many times I've actually been brought to tears because of a sad or angry situation, and that's normally about how many times a month I would have had an emotional situation pre-T. So I really have enjoyed that aspect. At least initially, I was enjoying that aspect. But the longer that I have been on T, the longer that I've been without distinct emotional responses to situations, the more I'm beginning to wonder, or the more I'm beginning to see in myself that I'm becoming less tolerant of emotional responses in others. It's not that I don't feel emotion. I do feel emotion, but when I get angry in a situation, I feel that anger, and it drives my brain to sit and like super analyze the situation so that I can figure out what's the cause and what the solutions should be. And so I might be angry at my son because of something he said or did, and I'll have words with him and have the whole thing worked out, tell him exactly how I feel, tell him exactly what I expect from him, and hear his side and process that and come to a solution. But once that's all said and done, the emotion's gone. The anger goes away, and I can move on with my day, and it's no big deal. And I know that pre-T, if I had a situation, an argument or a disagreement with somebody, even if that had been resolved, I would have had this emotional experience that would have lasted for the rest of the day, if not into the next day, even after having resolved it. So I do enjoy being able to, use the emotion to figure out a solution, solve it, and move on. And I love being able to have that emotion just go away and be able to move on. So it's not that I'm completely without emotion, but I feel it in bursts. I feel it in moments. It's not something that carries over or lingers throughout the day. It's moment specific, and it's over as quickly as it comes. So I'm finding that I'm becoming less tolerant of my daughters or my wife when they have emotional responses that last well beyond what to me seems reasonable. And I know that the thing is, I recognize that I'm having this judgmental attitude towards this, and that my frustration with them or my intolerance isn't well founded, because I remember having the emotional responses. I remember how real they were to me. I know how real they are for them, and I'm struggling trying to keep myself from being so judgmental and playing down the emotional responses that they have to situations. And that's really been a struggle, and it's kind of caused a little bit of distance between me and Christine, and I'm not liking that, and I'm trying to work through how to resolve this issue, because I don't want to become distant from Christine, but it's almost like we have to outline a new understanding between each other so that she understands that my outlook, my perspective has changed, and I'm working to keep her perspective in mind. When am I even making sense? You know, before I started taking testosterone, I didn't think, I was thinking more about the physical changes that I would be undergoing, and not fully recognizing the mental changes that would take place. And so now that I'm seeing just how the mental changes have occurred, which ones have occurred, and how they've affected me and affected my relationships with others, I still don't regret starting on testosterone. I don't regret it by any means, but I have to admit that I've become a different person. Not entirely a different person. I mean, my likes and dislikes for the most part are still there. I've still got the talents that I've had in the past, and my history hasn't changed any. But how I view the world and my approach to dealing with the world has changed. It has changed a lot. It makes me wonder whether some of my relationships are going to change. I can't see how they're not going to change. That they're going to be rewritten, and or I mean, I know that some of the some of the groups that I'm on the internet, you know, LGBT groups, Mormon lesbian groups, I don't have a need or a desire or drive to be parts of those anymore. And while I still care about the people that are on them, it's one of those, I'm to the point where I don't need to, I don't have the energy to focus on them anymore. And so I've been considering canceling my memberships on several of those sites, just because they're just clutter in my email. I don't read them on a regular basis. I don't keep up with them on a regular basis, and none of the discussions that they have really pertain to me, and I really don't have anything to offer them. I guess the only thing that I do, one of the reasons I keep telling myself that I'm not canceling my subscriptions to some of those, is just because I want to be a presence for future Mormon trans men that are trying to find themselves, and perhaps will come across my profile, some of my past postings, and know that they can approach me or come talk to me, know that they're not the only ones out there. But I am seeing that I've become a different person in a lot of aspects, and I wonder if some of my relationships with others are going to survive that. The one relationship that means the most to me is that with my wife, and I really, really don't want to lose that. I care about Christine immensely, but we're having to work through new understandings of each other, because I have changed so much. And I guess if she decides that I'm not the person she expected or fell in love with, and I've changed enough that she wants to move on, I'll have to deal with that. But she hasn't indicated that yet. She's just indicated that she's not happy with the way our relationship is currently. So anyway, hope everybody's doing well, and I think I'm done rambling for the day, so I'm gonna say adios and talk to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.